sometimes I watch and I see 2 or 3 guys get hit, and I be like, nah, I'm done. I don't fuck all that. I'm tired. I don't know if my NFL's career over. I think that's up to me. That's my choice. I don't need football. You know, I know a lot of guys that struggling financially and mentally need something to do with their lives and things like that. Like, I've done well for myself for over a decade, 11 years in the NFL, and I don't need it. Like, I don't wake up every day and say, oh my God, I need to be playing football, I need this. Now I'm at peace with what I am and the rest of my body, healing up and working out and getting myself. And if I decide to go back and play, I'll go back and play at the highest level I possibly can, and that's that. I grew up in Decatur, Atlanta, 15 minutes from the Atlanta Dome. You always have dreams and aspirations to want to grow up and be something, instead of being like a little kid that's brought up in the hood and not doing nothing with himself either. My mother was murdered when I was 13, and they never found the killer. I kind of expected that after a while, especially growing up in that type of environment and that type of neighborhood we was kind of brought up in, but take it with a grain of salt, and you try to make the best out of life. You accept it, and you're not quite understanding, but you have a choice. You can sit back and dwell on what could have happened, what should have happened, and being sad about it, or you could take that as motivation and do something positive with your life to motivate others. I think a lot of people want to enjoy that street life mentality, and I'm like, I don't ever want to go back to the streets. I don't ever want to go back to the hood. I don't never want to do any of those things, because it's only negative and it's only trouble. Someone who has 2 kids, I have 2 kids to raise and look after. My son idolized me, so for me going back and doing, visiting or want to live that life, it's not nothing I would want him to around, nothing I want him to look up to. I'm trying to give him the easy way out. If you came from something and your family had money, they forced you to go to school, you had great family support, a mom and dad, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's a plus. But to glorify something and not being authentic of living that type of life, what are you getting out of it? Because I can tell you right now, I lived it, and if I could do it the other way, I would do it like that all the time, Getting to Florida State was like the best thing ever. At that time I went, it was #1 in the country. I won a national championship. When people ask me and say, hey, what was your best sports moments of your life? Like, what was the best thing? And I always say, like, it's Florida State. I had the most fun in football in my entire life playing at Florida State, because it was no money involved. It was no politics. It wasn't everybody out for themselves. It wasn't no Pro Bowl awards. It wasn't no playoffs. It was all about a bunch of guys that just came together and just wanted to win a championship and have fun through college. And those were my best moments. To be able to play for a legendary coach like Bobby Bowden is an honor, it's a blessing. And, not many people could say they've done that in their college career. But I played for a guy that will be one of the best coaches ever to coach college football. It's a blessing, and to have a relationship with him even to this day is an honor. Losing in the Super Bowl with 1 minute and 30 seconds left is the worst shit ever. Everybody say, man, I'm so glad to be in the Super Bowl. We had a great run, we should have won, or whatever the situation may be, but when you look back on your legacy, everybody wants to be able to say, man, I won a Super Bowl. I won a national championship in college. I want to be able to win a Super Bowl, and, I fell short. So you never know if I will ever get another opportunity to win it. For the people that are going to play in the Super Bowl this year or next year, like, take advantage of it, because it's hard to get back to.